Hello, people. How are you? Today, I came in the mood for gist. I know you like gist. Anyways, have you ever been in that situation where you've been, maybe you planned on having a certain number of kids? Then after you had like the first or the second, you're like, I'm tired. I beg, I'm not doing again. I'm not doing again. Then after some years, you now begin to consider and reconsider. That's me. So I remember when we were getting married or when we were courting and I and my husband had a conversation about how many kids do we want to have. And we said, okay, oh, four. Say four. Okay. Wedding day. When during the reception they will tell you we're going to count the number of children you want to have. When we get to the number, cut the cake. That's how they did the game with us. They counted five, four, we did not cut here. Three, bam, we cut the cake. So three, Abby, we reduced from four to three. Then baby number one came. I was like, hi, man, the stress I went through in this pregnancy, I am not sure that I want to have that four or three children that we talked about. But like I think almost 2 years later, I was ready to have my second. So I discussed it with my husband and we went again. I got pregnant and I had my second child in 2022. And I was like, I am done. Like I know they do again. I'm done. And 2 years down the line, I'm now beginning to like reconsider. Should I not? Should I not? And at the beginning, when I started having this feeling, I even did an episode in my podcast where I talked about things to consider during family planning when you're planning your family. And I actually stand by those things that I said. You can check it out. I'll drop the link here. So I mentioned a few things you need to consider. You consider your finances, you consider your health, and all that. But now, yes, my mom every now and then is like, oh, you are still owing me one more child, though. My grandma, the same thing, that I should have another child. But when I think about it, I'm like, do I want another child? The question is, or the answer is yes. Lately, I've actually been considering having a third child, but there is a but. I've been thinking about this for like maybe getting to 6 months now, and I've been considering should I not, should I not. So the first thing I think of when I'm actually thinking about this is my age. And when I tell people my age, people are like, "Ah, yeah, I'm not old though." Should I tell you my age? Should I tell you my age? Anyhow, that one that you're thinking of, that's my age. So, anyway, to make it fair, I'm in my almost mid 30s. So, people are like, as long as you're not up to 40, it's not too late to have another child. And even when you're 40, if you want to, you can. So, but for me, I think of my age. Secondly, I think of my health, so my medical history. So, I have type 1 diabetes. So, definitely, once you have diabetes, your pregnancy is already a high risk pregnancy because of the complications that come with having an infant of a diabetic mother. So, usually, once you have diabetes or hypertension or sickle cell or certain kind of illnesses, it's termed a high risk pregnancy. So even if someone who doesn't have a health or a medical history of an illness decides in their mid 30s to have a child, it's not going to be a high risk pregnancy, especially if the person has had children before and there were no complications. But in my own case, I've had two kids, and it's if I have a third one, it's still going to be a high risk pregnancy. Not that there's anything that is going to happen. So it's not like health is like, and in our word, we'll say absolute contraindication. In other words, it's not like it's a no, no, like, you can't even attempt it because it's life threatening. You understand? So that's not my case, but definitely it's a high risk pregnancy. So, what I've actually been thinking lately about this issue, whether I should have another child or not. And there are certain things that I have to consider. I say have because I am still in that mix. I'm still undecided. The likelihood that I may not have another child is there. But there's a small percentage that I may. I do not know as of now. So basically, another thing I think about is my partner, my husband. He's not in that mindset. That mentally he's not prepared, and there is a desire that every man has for their family. You know, we women, our own is, oh, I just want to have another child. I just want to have another child. I just feel like, even if you are 40, sometimes you still have that feeling. But for a man, when a man thinks of a child, he's thinking responsibility. He's not seeing affection, emotion, companionship. No, his one is going to be financially demanding, is going to demand his time and his presence. He would prefer to focus more on work now that the other kids are already growing and becoming a little bit independent. So bringing a newborn into the mix, definitely I would demand his help, not just finances. I would demand his help emotionally. I would demand his help with things around the house. And he's not in that headspace. So what do you now do when you want something and your partner doesn't want it? What's the best step to take? And me too, I've been trying to like chip it in jokingly, seriously. What do you think? What do you think? Should we go again? Should we go again? And he's like, I don't even want to hear about it. And he'll be like, okay, if there is a certain way I want things to be if we're going to have another child, there's a way I want you to enjoy the pregnancy. There's a way I want everything to just be soft everywhere. I don't want, like how it is when you just get married, you're trying to settle in, then before you know, conception, a child comes in, that stability is not there. So there's a kind of stability that he's like seeking for before he can even consider having another child. And I'm thinking, oh, if this stability doesn't come now, time is also not on my end. Do I go on and have that child? So these are some of the things I have resolved in handling such a situation, and I decided to share it with you just in case you are in this headspace, or in the nearest future you find yourself in this headspace. And thinking and reflecting about it, I said, this is my resolve. I said, make I come tell you, Sha. So the first thing is that I've told myself that it's actually okay if I have only two kids. There's no written law that says I must have three children. Even if I decided to have one child, there's nothing wrong with it. So my desire is fine. So in other words, even if I end up not having a third child, I'm fine. I'm okay. It's not a big deal. It's not a problem. So I've come to accept it that I'm actually fine with these kids. When I look at them, I'm happy. In fact, I'm even happy that they are even growing. My first is 5. My first just turned 5. My second is 2. Later this year should be 3. And they are gradually growing independent. I don't have to be 100% at their beck and call, like if I'm thinking of a newborn. It gives me more room to pay attention to do things that I want to do. I can, if it's a newborn, you can't sleep through the night. Once you have a small child, a baby, or let's say an infant, so for the first 2 years of that child's life, your so many things about your life may be interrupted, especially if you are a working mom. Like for me, I am working, I am schooling, I am taking care of my family, and I'm dealing with Women Lighthouse. I'm doing other things. I have other commitments. So it's actually not easy having to juggle a whole lot than dealing with a newborn. So I just tell myself, actually, if you decide or if you have only two kids, I'm actually satisfied with it. There's nothing wrong in just having two kids. If along the way we make a decision as a couple to have a third child, fine, it's also good. So you need to understand that it's okay to have two kids or have the number of kids you already have. It's not a big deal if you don't have the extra. So the other thing I've resolved is that my husband and I have to be on the same page. I remember when it was time to have our second, like to conceive with our second, he also wasn't ready. Men naturally are not ready for these things because they think responsibility when it comes to children. But I was able to convince him and we went on with it. So I just said for this third one, I mustn't always have my way. We have to agree. If I'm not able to convince him for us to go on and have a third child, make I just day where I day, abi. So that's just it. We just have to be on the same page. So you have to be on the same page with your spouse. You just have to be on the same page with your spouse because you would need your spouse through the journey of conception, of infancy, and all that. So it will not be nice if you unanimously make a decision and you leave your spouse behind. You've robbed him of that right of choice. And that's not fair. That's just taking advantage and being manipulative. So I choose not to be manipulative. We'll be on the same page. So my third resolve is not to compare myself. If you know the pressure that sha comes, when we started, you have some maybe like in church for instance, or even your friends where you got married like at about the same time, or you had your first kids at about the same time, maybe the same year but different months, that kind of thing. Then finally, all of you have two children. You feel like you're on the same level. Then you just wake up one day and see that some of your clique, they are pregnant with their third. And you start feeling somehow your body is scratching your ear like, hey, I've been there. Just see what I've been through. Like, so basically, I just told myself, see, don't even think of comparing yourself. You are not in the same headspace. Financially, we are all in different spaces. Aspiration wise, we're in different spaces. Someone can be a stay at home mom, the other one can have their own business, the other one can be more financially buoyant than I am, the other one can have the support that I don't have. I cannot even think of comparing the number of kids when forgetting that there are other factors that also come into play. So I just told myself, I'm going to save myself the heartache. I'm going to support my friends and acquaintances who have had their third child or are pregnant with their third child and just be me and just be content. So no comparison. And the last resolve is I'm gonna enjoy every moment I have with my two kids. They say a bird in hand is better than what? You know that saying, right? That one, eh? So I'm just going to be content and just enjoy the moments I have with my two kids. Enjoy every single moment of it. Create lovely memories. Do things together. Have fun. Tell them I love you. Be there for them. Be content rather than thinking and stressing my head over the one I have not had. So make I just kukuma enjoy the one where I don't get first. So these are my resolve when it comes to should I or should I not have a third child. I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you for listening to my gist. See you on my next video. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? What are you waiting for? Click that button right away and share this with a lady you think needs to hear this. Thank you. Bye.